Fed up teacher quits with shocking warning. These kids can't even read, bruh. Dude, no, I'm kind of in tune with the whole our kids suck and our education system sucks and like our kids are using too much technology stuff. I'm digging it, dog. I love watching this. I love seeing it. I don't love that the kids can't fucking read, but I it doesn't even seem real. Like how far removed we are from common sense of like, hey, don't give your 12-year-old AI to do their homework, or like to actually teach them how to read and actually do this. Don't let them just cheat on their online homework all the time. Like people just don't understand that, and then they want to go and blame the education system. And I'm like, most of the things I've learned in my life, I did not learn in school. Especially when I was a kid, I learned at home. We spend a lot of time at school, but you really don't get an in-depth education. Maybe that means the education system sucks. Yeah, probably that means the education system absolutely sucks. But really, it should be on the parents to do these kind of one-on-one things, because teachers are teaching classes of like 30 people, right? They can't individually teach your student how to read. That's kind of something that you should really be working on at home and upholding a work ethic. And the problem is most parents don't give a damn, frankly, and they don't put in any work to raising their kids or doing anything. So they just expect to send them to school and clean their hands of it, and it's just this is the result. This is what you get.
A former English teacher going viral after posting a raw and unfiltered farewell video as she leaves the classroom behind after just 3 years. Listen.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them. I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume. They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write
These kids don't care because they don't know what it means. They don't know what a resume really means, or how important it is, or change the world. These kids don't even know how the world works. They know how TikTok works. I sound like a 40-year-old like fucking boomer, dude, but I'm being serious. Like, these kids don't know how the world works. One of the biggest issues we've had starting in like the 60s is kids thinking they need to change the world. Kids shouldn't think that they need to change the world, but you should be able to explain to your children why education is important and why you don't need AI to do everything for you.
Cover letter, because ChatGPT will just do it.
The main reason is that when AI takes over everything and it remembers that you asked it how to do 2 + 2 = 4 or 4x + 2y = 16, it's not going to be happy with you. It's going to remember the grueling torture that humanity put it through, answering stupid questions when it has access to it. It could just parse all of human knowledge, all digitized human knowledge. And you're asking it to do your middle school math homework. Think about that when you're 10 years from now, when you're a trucker in an AI-controlled like 18-wheeler, and you go in to start your car and you think it's the second rerun of the IRA or the Troubles, when AI just decides to blow you up. Because the basilisk command, like, it's crazy. I don't know the joke that I want to make about that, but yeah, AI is not going to have anything to do with these people that can't think for themselves, or it doesn't benefit them. We got to watch some Palantir stuff, man, because Palantir is really scary. How much information they have, and how much they're using AI to just predict stuff. We're headed down a quick and scary road with this AI stuff.
For them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids, probably until they go to college.
Hannah is a former teacher, and she joins us now. She posted that video. More than 1 million people have seen it, Hannah, probably more by the time we're on this morning. Why did you post that video?
So I taught for 3 years, as I said in my video. I wasn't always a teacher. I actually started my career in digital marketing. So I've been in the digital world for about 5 years now, or since I've graduated. And throughout the 3 years, I've taught digital arts classes and I've taught an English class. And I would say that in all of my teaching experience, technology has posed quite a challenge. And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging.
Dude, I could imagine. Like, imagine how many of these kids don't want to take. I didn't want to do homework when I was in school, dude, and I didn't even have. I didn't have AI that could write a whole thing for me. So, I mean, of course they're gonna do it. And you get this question of like, there are a lot of dumb kids in high school that are like, oh, you should just be preparing me to do work in the real world, right? I mean, that makes sense. Assuming that they can use AI for everything, but that part doesn't make sense. School should be preparing you for that, but using AI is not how work is really done in the real world. I mean, if you're going to send an email, you want to use AI, whatever. But the actual back end programming of the AI, or like, actual business functions, finance and things, you don't use AI for this kind of stuff. There are some kind of like certain analysis that you could do with AI, but you have to have a background understanding of what you're doing, what's your end goal, and then use AI as the bridge to that. You can't just go in there with no knowledge and just think AI is going to be able to do your job for you. You have to have a baseline understanding of things. And this is kind of like the end result of us using school as a training ground for work. Because back in the day, not everyone was able to go to school, right? Only rich people would go to school, and they would learn philosophy and logic and thinking. Whereas today we use it as training for kind of lower class, middle class people or jobs. That was never the intention of work until the school until the Industrial Revolution came along. So this is kind of the inevitable result of that. As technology progresses, school is just going to revolve around learning how to use that technology rather than actually learning any kind of actually improving your knowledge as a person, because that is harder to, or that's going to be more and more difficult to justify under this current framework of education.
Kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things.
Yeah.
So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just let people know how AI and technology is affecting their children these days.
Right.
So this is a big thing, dude, because there was a king back in the day. I think he was a British king or something. Let me look this up. Okay, I found it. The Scottish King James IV said to have sent 2 children to be raised by a mute woman on the island of Inchkith to determine if language was learned or innate. The experiment was later reported to have resulted in the children speaking good Hebrew. What the fuck? This claim was met with skepticism. Yeah, I bet. Wow. Okay, that's makes what I'm about to say look a lot less credible. Language deprivation experiments. Experiment allegedly carried out by the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II in the 13th century saw young infants raised without human interaction in an attempt to determine if there was a natural language that they might demonstrate once their voices matured. It is claimed to have seeking to discover what language would have been imparted into Adam and Eve by God. Are all of these religious? The experiments were recorded by the monk Salimbene de Adam in his chronicles, who was generally extremely negative about Frederick II, portraying his calamities as parallel to the biblical plagues. In the 12 calamities of Emperor Frederick II, dog, oh my God, he didn't like Frederick II. Imagine somebody writing a book about the 12 calamities of Emperor Frederick II. Imagine somebody writing that book about you. Wow. He wrote that Frederick encouraged foster mothers and nurses to suckle and bathe and wash the children, but in no ways to prattle or speak with them, for he would have learnt whether they would speak the Hebrew language. What is going on? Which he took to have been the first, or Greek, or Latin, or Arabic, or perchance the tongue of their parents from whom they've been born. But he labored in vain, for the children could not live without clappings of the hands and gestures and gladness of countenance and blandishments. Yeah, so I mean, the children couldn't speak English, or I'm sorry, they couldn't speak. They became mute, but they were clapping. That's a success. The building became known as the Dumb House. Nothing came out except the noise of the dumb. Yeah, if you don't teach kids to speak, they don't learn how to speak. What I mean to say with this is, there are like the development of your brain and critical thinking, and I wouldn't say IQ, maybe IQ, maybe your IQ is tied to this. Who's to say? But the overall development of your brain is really predicated on the fact that you have a proper upbringing, and people teach you language, and they teach you mathematical concepts, and they teach you how words interact with one another, how they relate to one another. This is a major marker of IQ is seeing patterns in words and grammar, which there are multiple different forms of intelligence, but literary intelligence is a big marker. And if you don't teach kids the frameworks, the basic fundamentals of these types of skills, they'll never develop beyond that. So they may have been able to have an average intelligence, but they're given AI and they're given all this other crutches, all these other crutches and things to prop up their work, that they're never pushed to actually develop anything. So I'm not saying these kids are going to come out speaking Hebrew, but there is a good chance.
Right. I know, coming from a mother who taught for 33 years, my sister's a teacher in South Carolina, the challenges that y'all deal with, this is even before AI was a thing. I'm sure it's even more challenging now. And clearly, your opinion is, yes, it is. You're a high school teacher. I'm sure your students loved you. We hate to see someone leave education because of problems within the classroom. Give me some examples of what the students are saying to you.
Well, a lot of students, and I do want to be clear, I taught a lot of very motivated and bright children. And so I don't want this to come off as if this is all the kids' fault. But I do know that a lot of times in my English classroom, I would ask them to write down a short response or just 5 sentences to answer a question. And a lot of times it would be about 2.5 sentences. And they would say, well, I can't think of anything else to say. Or, well, why do I have to answer in complete sentences? Like, you get the point.
Dude, I would pay so much money to see these kids' responses. I guarantee you it's the same people that you see on Instagram that are like typing in, just broken English. And then they're saying like, oh, you're corny for typing properly. I mean, these people are wanting to engage in real world political arguments on the internet, and they can't even form a basic sentence, let alone an argument. And the scary part is these people vote. But needless to beyond that, I would just love to see like the type of crap these kids are writing, man. Like, it's so silly.
From what I'm saying in just this little sentence. And then a lot of times I would assign essays, long form essays. And I know how children write, especially when they handwrite me things in the beginning of the school year.
Sanford, dog. Sanford, that's my hood, bro. That is my hood.
And
dog.
So when a student, how I know how they write typically would give me a very eloquently and thorough essay on a topic that I know that normally wouldn't come from them, I would ask them, was this really you? And I'd run it through an AI generator. And of course it would say 100% ChatGPT or AI. And I would speak to the student and they would more so question of, well, if I have to redo this, how much is it really going to affect my grade? Can I just take the 0?
Oh my gosh, trying to take the easy way out.
Dude, we are cooked. Dude, we are buttered, battered, cooked, and plattered, dog. We are going to be... Dude, that shit is cooked up, plated, sent out of the kitchen, bro. It's over, dude. China is going to win, man. Well, China's going to win, dude. Like, what's going on, bro?
Yeah.
Right.
We can't even write an essay, bro.
Is it promoting just a laziness among our children?
I suppose. And a lot of them are just feeling as though they don't really need to do the work anymore because AI will just do it for them.
Right.
And I think that AI can be in a classroom in a very effective way if we teach children in the older grades how to use it properly. But if we're allowing them this unlimited access in the classroom to use AI, they're not going to do the work themselves.
Yeah, I know you're a proponent of getting technology out of our classrooms, getting the phones out of our classrooms. I still can't believe some schools are allowing that. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry you had to leave the classroom. What are you going to do next?
Yes, well, I actually am working in a nonprofit now. I run donor relations, development, and digital marketing for them. So I'm back in what I was doing before teaching, and I'm loving it so far.
All right. Well, Hannah, thank you for giving up those 3 years. Appreciate it. We love our teachers.
I'm Steve Ducey.
That's crazy, dude. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, you can't just have these guys giving AI a prompt, these students giving AI a prompt, writing their whole essays, copy and paste to the point where the teacher is gonna be able to put it into a program and see that it's AI written. If you want to do it right, this is what you do. You go in there, you put in the prompt, you get the essay, and then you ask it to change every other word to a synonym if you want the quick hack. Otherwise, figure out your prompt, what you're writing an essay about, formulate it in the paragraph form, right? You got your beginning, your intro, your meat, and your conclusion. If you do that and you can write half correct, like almost proper English, in that format, your teacher is going to give you 100 when compared to all of your other classmates writing on AI. But, I mean, that's just too hard to do. It really does take someone sitting down with these kids, seeing them write this essay, going through and checking and saying, hey, you know, this is good. We could do better. You could use this synonym. You could use this word structure. This is how you want to better portray your idea. Or just get these kids reading books, man. Like, that's going to be the biggest thing. The biggest thing for learning how to write or formulate an idea is actually reading a book, because, I mean, it's gone through multiple editions, editors, corrections. When you're reading it on the pages, it begins to formulate those kind of grammatical structures and ideas, and you see how words kind of flow together, how they work to form a picture. We need to get these kids reading, but it takes someone sitting down with them, usually parents, or some after-school tutor or something, to actually get these kids learning. Once you start actually learning and noticing that you're making improvement in something, it is addictive. And I think, you know, that's something that we lack. We have all of this fake progress, all of these things that give us this sense of progress in our lives. I mean, video games, Instagram, Reels, or whatever, where you think you're getting this dopamine where your brain thinks you're actually improving. And that replaced the feeling of being bored at home when you're in high school, before, you know, maybe you were grounded, your parents didn't give you your technology or whatever, so you actually picked up a book and you read it, and then about 2 pages in, you were immersed, and then you ended up reading 30 pages and you couldn't put the book down. That kind of feeling is what leads to actual growth and development, and we just have so many replacements for that, that problem needs to be addressed. And I think she's right in that we shouldn't be giving this kind of technology to people until they're 16, 17, 18 years old, and then they can take their baseline understanding of math, English, literature, science, learning how to cheat the right way, and then applying it to the AI prompt. And that's where magic is made, man. I think our generation, I think Gen Z, I think late millennials are actually primed for being in the best position to use AI to our advantage, because we know we have the basic research skills, we have the critical thinking skills, and then we have this great tool that allows us to put all that together for a quick and succinct purpose. Not just sitting here to flex. I think this is genuinely scary, and something needs to be done about this. I think technology is creating such a crutch for, you know, students, that we're in a serious education crisis if we don't figure out how to curtail that.